Welcome to TCG Talk, where we talk about collecting mentality, we talk about the hobby, and we try to be better collectors for our wallet's sake. Thank you for tuning in. In this one, I want to talk about what the heck we are supposed to do and buy in this current market. I don't know if you guys follow other creators or keep track of the general Pokemon sealed and raw singles market, but there's some alarming things happening right now. Everything seems to be going up in price, and everything seems to be going up in value. And if it's true, shout out to one of my favorite newsletter writers, TCG Buyers Club. He is actually the inspiration for me starting my own newsletter. He put out a newsletter a few weeks ago talking about institutional money entering the hobby and how there are legitimately people with cash in their pockets to burn on assets. And instead of looking at traditional assets, they're looking at collectibles and specifically trading cards, and now specifically Pokemon cards, because there is money to be had in this now. Not sure if you guys were aware, but Logan Paul's Illustrator card went for an insane amount of money, and now you can fully expect product to be even harder to get your hands on, and you're going to have to need botting services and some sort of notification service in order to even stay afloat in this hobby. So, what the heck are you and I supposed to do in this time and in this moment? I'll admit, the last few PokemonCenter.com drops, I have been slacking on. I've missed the drops. Got in line way too late. Even though they were small restocks on like Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles and Ascended Heroes tins and, pin collections and all those things. Even though it was smaller stuff, I am kicking myself because I missed it. And it's just going to get harder and harder from here. Unless Pokemon decides, on their .com website decide to implement a raffle system, which I could definitely see happening in the coming year if they don't think that this demand is ever going to wane. So where is my attention focused on? Well, I'm pretty active on Facebook Marketplace just from a window shopping perspective. And I think just from seeing what people are selling and what people are looking to trade for and buy, it looks like the attention is really on raw singles. And people are trying to offload their raw singles. They're trying to sell them. They're trying to sell, high-end chase cards on Facebook Marketplace to get off of them. And I think there are a lot of deals that are out there in your local market for raw singles. I specifically hunt for people who have multiple cards for sale, whether it's multiple listings or in a single listing, they have a binder for sale. I'm looking for people like that who are trying to offload a lot of cards, or trying to trade out of their raw singles into sealed product. Why am I doing that? Well, one, sealed product is so expensive right now. I just don't see a reality where sealed product gets any better within the next couple of years. It's not going to get easier to obtain. I don't believe that this new printing facility is actually going to improve things from a supply perspective, especially when the demand keeps going up. And if it is true that institutional money is coming into the hobby, then you can guarantee that you and me are going to get pushed out of, most retail product. I think that the Pokemon Company buying Excel brands is big, but we can get into that in another video. So that's what I'm looking at is raw singles. I'm looking for cheap, low-end, inexpensive raw singles from the larger sets. So like White Flare, Black Bolt, I'm looking at Ascended Heroes raw singles right now and just tracking their prices. Really, really trying to avoid now Scarlet Violet era raw singles, because those Scarlet Violet era raw singles are going to start ballooning, especially for the ones that are of more popular Pokemon. We can get into that in the newsletter. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, to get that newsletter. But the second thing I'm looking to buy, funny enough, are sealed product. And I want to buy booster bundles. And I've said this before, booster bundles are probably the easiest product to move. And it's because the entry point is so low. It's easy to store them. It's 6 packs, and it's just packs with no fluff. So people don't have to worry about what to do with the dice and with the card, with the card dividers and all of this stuff. Like, they don't have to worry about the additional accessories. So I am truly looking at all of these, all of these sealed products, finding booster bundles, and really trying to get many of them for a good price. What am I specifically looking at? 151. That's a big one. I think there's more room for 151 to grow in terms of value. We should definitely be keeping an eye on that and trying to get in to 151 right now, if you haven't already. I'm also looking to buy Ascended Heroes. I think Phantasmal Flames is highly undervalued right now. I'd be looking at those sets. And whenever you can, a Prismatic Evolutions booster bundle is a perfect buy. So definitely looking for that. So raw singles of larger sets, I'm looking at booster bundles right now. And the third thing that I'm looking at really are Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes. I've been looking at Surging Sparks, specifically. I'm looking at Paradox Rift. I'm looking at some of these lower end, not as expensive Scarlet Violet era booster boxes, because let's be real. If Pokemon is going and trending this way, booster boxes are going to be the last thing reprinted and the fewest things restocked throughout the market. They want people to have their hands on ETBs for whatever reason, and they're going to produce booster bundles because they can just sell more product that way. I'm sure their return on booster bundles is much higher in terms of shipping volume than it is on a booster bundle case or booster box case. It's probably easier to manufacture all this stuff. So booster boxes from Scarlet Violet era. You might be following some of the Sword and Shield era stuff. Some of those prices are starting to plateau and taper off. I truly think that Scarlet Violet is going to be the next thing to start popping off. You've already seen it with Paldea Evolved going off, and some of these other earlier Scarlet Violet sets. So really look for those Surging Sparks deals. Look for those Twilight Masquerade deals. I think they're highly underrated, still undervalued, and they'll easily 2x. I have no doubts about that. Surging Sparks right now is, averaging around 250, 260. I'd be going for that. Just remember, if you don't take anything away from this video, just remember this one thing. All the money can't be spent on everything. Like, seriously, all the money cannot be, everybody's dollar cannot be spent on buying raw singles, PSA cards, and sealed product. And it can't be spent on all sealed product from all eras and generations, right? And you've got to know, at a certain point, people just get priced out of certain things. Like, there are certain PSA cards now that are just off the list for me because they're unaffordable, unattainable. And I'm talking like, beyond 2.5, 2.5K and up. Like, once it hits that threshold for me, I'm like completely out on it, because there's no way I can make up the value in trades. I'm not paying $2,000 for a single card. Like, you're crazy. I'm trying to offset that as much as possible. But, think about it. Like, you can't possibly, one vendor is not sitting there buying everything. They're buying what they know. And every vendor has their different specialties, but even that doesn't cover the entire gamut of product and era available. So be smart. Look at stuff that people aren't talking about. Look at product that people are ignoring, skipping over, and be smart about it. Grab booster bundles of Journey Together if that's all you have available. People are skipping over that set like it's chopped liver, and there are some good cards in that set too. Grab Destined Rivals when you can, when you see it restocked. Grab these things that are often overlooked and underappreciated. Phantasmal Flames is a big one right now. It's super underappreciated. Mega Evolutions base set, super underappreciated. Some of the later Scarlet Violet era stuff right before Destined Rivals, like we should be focusing on that stuff right now in terms of, zigging whenever, zagging when everyone's zigging. So let me know down in the comments if what you're buying. Tell me, what cards you're buying, what sets you're buying into, what sealed product you're buying into. Thank you for sticking through to the end of this video. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.